Well, please welcome Dr. Susan MacManus, University of South Florida, Distinguished Professor Emeritus. Great to have you with us once more.
Thank you.
Let's start with the state of our politics. One of John McCain's closing speeches was a call for humility, for compromise, for trusting in one another yet again.
I hope we can again rely on humility, on our need to cooperate, on our dependence on each other, to learn how to trust each other again, and by so doing better, serve the people who elected us. Stop listening to the bombastic loudmouths on the radio and television and the internet.
Has that train totally and permanently left the station?
Well, unfortunately, it looks like that. Trust levels are at the very lowest level they've been in years, but particularly troubling, people are starting to lose confidence in not just federal employees, but going all the way down to local. It's affecting how people act in the world of politics. It's very troubling to a lot of people that people can't be civil to one another. Gone are the days when compromise was a good word, as you were suggesting and McCain suggested. But yet the great compromise was what put this nation together to begin with.
Yet our framers, Madison in particular, feared that hostility and factions could tear us apart. But
Right.
He looked at that and said, gee, the nation's so big, the size alone would be a firewall. I think he wrote in Federalist 10 that we don't have to worry about it that much. He did not foresee this age of machines and algorithms that fuel the flames so far and so fast.
Absolutely not. But on the other hand, a lot of people are still hopeful. A lot of people still are determined that their vote is important and matters, and that's a good thing.
However, in the age of gerrymandering, we have more and more districts in which only, in most cases, one party can win because so many voters from that particular party are crammed into it. And now we have this call for more redistricting. First, before we even get into the political implications, if there is a census at this point in the game, how reliable or accurate can it be?
I don't foresee, even if we had a mid-decade census, that it would be done in time for the elections to take place in 2026. After all, in Florida, the filing deadline is July for a lot of candidates.
And yet we have a push in Texas to redraw lines.
Right.
California saying if they do, we'll do it too. Maybe Florida's in the mix, other states as well, in which case you would have conceivably more districts drawn to favor one party or another, so you pretty much know the outcome, and it's far more likely to elect people on the far left and the far right.
And that's long been a complaint. But if you look at Florida's talking about it, and of course the argument here is, well, a lot more Republicans have moved into the state since just 5 years ago that, redrawing things would be more in line with our politics. That's one speculation. Another is that it's just to lock out the other side. There hasn't been any polling done on this plan to do this in Florida, but previous polls have shown that people don't really like this look of doing this just for politics, but more and basically. At a time when people are struggling financially, every poll shows that pocketbook issues are near the top of the list. When they look at these people fleeing one state to go camp out in another, and another state, well, we can do this to counter that, it's not giving a lot more trust on the part of the citizens to government when they see what seems to be, to many, just a sheer power grab.
Well, cultural flashpoints rule the day in politics these days, but you're saying with so many people concerned and strained with their finances, will that lead to a scenario in the race for governor in Florida where insurance rates, inflation, other issues will pull focus, or will it be focused more on the culture war issues?
Guaranteed it's going to be focused more on the economic issues. Now, there is a wild card in all of this, and that's some kind of foreign policy or international episode. And what we see in politics these days is with a snap of a finger, what you were convinced was going to happen, something else suddenly takes the stage, but then in another couple of weeks it goes by the way. It's very hard for people to campaign or figure out their strategy for messaging and how they're going to campaign to people when, with the snap of a finger, what they're counting on really pushing as their number one issue is suddenly not relevant. So things change so fast in the world of politics, it's like a whirlwind, that it makes it difficult for people to get up. Now, the other problem we're seeing is a tremendous drop in people's attentiveness to political news. And that's a consequence of everything seems always negative, always polarized, one-sided. All of this is feeding in together so that next year's midterm elections, we're going to be watching for a lot of things. But number one thing we're going to look at long-term is, have we started to repair the damage that's been done to our politics by this negativism, lack of civility, power grabs, all the things that people don't like at the time that they're suffering financially.
Dr. Susan MacManus, thank you as always for your insight.
Thank you.